Good evening. Today's verdict by the Honorable Supreme Court allowing the ancient practice of Jallikattu is welcome. No sane person, least of all I, would accept animal cruelty, and I am glad that the court determined that Jallikattu does not involve animal cruelty, especially with the new state amendments. That said, this is the time to ask a few pertinent questions of selectivity and double standards when it comes to Hindu religious and ritualistic practices. In 2019, the Tripura High Court banned animal sacrifice, even though Hindus argued that this practice was a centuries-old tantric tradition of worshipping the 10 Mahavidyas, namely Kali, Tara, Tripura Sundari, Bhuvaneshwari, Bhairavi, Chinnamasta, Dhumavati, Bagalamukhi, Matangi and Kamala. What the Hindus pleaded was also in keeping with the famous 1954 Shirur Mutt judgment that established the sanctity of an essential religious practice. But the judges would hear none of it. Quote, "No person, including the state, shall be allowed to sacrifice any animal or bird within the precincts of any temple within the state of Tripura," unquote, they wrote. In 2014, the judges of the Himachal Pradesh High Court had similarly banned the 600-year-old tradition of animal sacrifice during Kullu Dasera. In 2017, the quasi-judicial NGT ordered a ban on the tolling of bells and the chanting of shlokas by devotees at Amarnath. Praise the Lord, they simultaneously didn't allow the delivery of azan through a loudspeaker there. Or perhaps they indeed did, but the vagaries of the state have meant the order is yet to reach Bholenath's abode. The question to be asked is, why should only the religious Hindu be prevented from conducting animal sacrifice? If the state is against animal sacrifice, and laudably so, then shouldn't it be against all animal sacrifices conducted in the name of religion? But is that the case? If the honorable courts object to the taking of the life of an animal through a religious ritual, do they have the guts to ban halal? Every single day, more than 1 billion Muslims eat meat after this religious ritual has been performed. In fact, it is an essential requirement. The dhabiha, or the prescribed ritual slaughter, must be staged. The incision must be precise and deep that cuts the carotid artery and the trachea. The blood must be drained completely. This while the animal is still alive. The head of the animal must be aligned to the Kaaba, and it is essential that Bismillah Rahman Rahim be uttered. Furthermore, only a Muslim can perform the slaughter. So according to the honorable judges, this isn't a ritual. In fact, this ritualistic practice has been deemed so cruel in many European countries that it is mandatory to stun the animal before performing halal. But do our judges have the courage to shun selectivity when it comes to animal rights? Hindu festivals and celebrations and sporting events are easy target, be it Kambala or Jallikattu as was previously the case, or Naga Panchami, or even kite flying during Makar Sankranti, or believe it or not, restricting the height of the Dahi Handi during the Janmashtami festival. The judges have capped the human pyramid height to 20 feet, saying anything above would inflict harm to the participating humans. Quote, "We only know of Krishna stealing butter. Did he also indulge in acrobatics while stealing it?" Mock the judges. I want to ask these judges, what happens to all their mockery and colorful retorts when it comes to Muharram, where tens of thousands of Muslims openly inflict serious bodily harms to themselves and to others with whips laced with steel claws that stab deep into the devotee's flesh amidst chants of Ya Abbas, Ya Abbas? Is that not inflicting harm? But do our milords have the guts to ban this ritual during Muharram? It is the same with banning crackers during Diwali, but allowing millions of tons of stubble to be burned during the same month, or millions of trees to be cut during Christmas, or allowing fireworks during New Year celebrations, because apparently only Diwali is increasing the carbon footprint and contributing to pollution. The rest are purifying the environment. And for those who blame Diwali for the state of Delhi air every year, here is some perspective. An area of 17,900 square kilometers, or 12 times the size of Delhi, is on fire continuously for weeks on end right next to Delhi. 35 million tons of stubble are burnt right under the noses of our judges. Honestly, I am now convinced the only way stubble burning can be banned is if we call it Parali Dahan, a Hindu festival wherein, according to the Atharva Veda, Lord Vishnu burned demon king Paralisura when he enslaved Maruts and storm king Rudra. Only then will it be banned. Stubble burning releases 149 million tons of carbon dioxide, which is 55% of all Indian transport carbon dioxide emission. The financial burden of treating the resulting respiratory disease alone is 154 times more than the cost of the machines needed for stubble extraction. But if our politicians and judges thought like this, we'd be a developed nation. And with our courts acting the way they are towards Hindus and their rituals, can the state be far behind? Dharmapuram adhinam patina parvesaram. The ancient Hindu ritual of carrying the priest has now been banned. And that too by invoking clauses of quote-unquote forced labor. You mean to tell me the devotees are being forced to carry the pontiff they revere? What next? I will tell you what next. There will soon come a time when the state will ban the pulling of the Lord Jagannath on the pretext of forced labor. But there will never come a time when the state bans Sidia Gestatoria, the tradition of carrying a Christian priest. There will never come a time when the state bans the hoisting of the bulky tazia on dozens of tired, exhausted soldiers during Muharram. There will never come a time when the state bans the tradition of carrying a heavy wooden cross on Easter parade. There will never come a time when the state bans male genital circumcision, a religion-ordained act of cruelty that is banned in many European countries. This selectivism against only Hindu festivals and religious practices will soon result in a scenario where the Hindus begin to dislike their own traditions. From there, the road to self-loathing is but a few yards away. And we know where that road leads to. Forsaking Hinduism itself and accepting another religion. As if on cue, the courts have recently opined that non-Hindus cannot be barred by temples into setting up their shops and temple premises. So let me get this straight. A man whose religion orders him to viscerally hate the Hindu, commands him to convert this infidel, this kafir, and if he can't, then kill him at an opportune moment. A man whose religion tells him no one has the right to be worshipped but Allah 4062. That those who deny the Quran, their necks will be shackled 40-70. That polytheists or Hindus are the worst of creatures 98-6. That fight against those who do not believe in Allah and who do not adopt Islam, fight them until they give the jizya while they are humble 929. That do not marry polytheist women unless they believe in Islam 2-221. That those who disbelieve in our verses, we will drive them into a fire 456. That do not take disbelievers as friends unless they convert and kill them if they refuse 489. The court orders the Hindu temple to give this man the temple's own land to set up a shop in. Is there a finer example of how entrenched snubbing of Hindu interests has become? There is no other way of saying this. The camel has begun to sneak into the tent. An open sky awaits.